Well, hello once again, everybody. It's Bug Eater 64, and we're getting ready to do a flight in the Bell 412. And let's take a look at what we're going to be doing today. Here we are inside the Bell, and let's look at what we're doing. We're now presently sitting at Van Nuys Airport in California, and we're going to be heading to Sky Ranch in Sandy Valley, Nevada, and it's about 170 miles. So we're going to be carrying, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, and 9 passengers and some cargo. So let's go ahead and get things started here. Hopefully we won't make too much of a mistake. Let's go ahead and get rid of our before flight items. So let's go ahead and get our batteries on. Anti-collision lights. And that looks good, that looks good. Let's check our throttles. Okay, down to idle. Controls. Everything's looking good there. Alright, so with that, before we start the engines, let's go ahead and see about getting our flight plan going. KNVY. And we're going to 3L2.
Okay.
Now, hopefully it's in the system. Sky Ranch, it's there. 170 nautical miles. Activate the leg. Go back, and there we go. Nautical miles, that'll be good.
HTOS test okay.
So everything's looking good there. So let's see about getting some engines started. So that one on, that one on, that on. Okay, let's get these all on. Okay, so let's see if I get that started. And I did a little work on the paint shop for the tail rotor, so it'll look a little bit better, I hope, once it's up to full speed. So let's go ahead and start the second engine. GPU. And for some reasons, where they parked me here at the general helicopter parking area, I am picking up the outer marker beacon. And that's what that little flashing blue light is on my dash. And that little horn. And so as soon as I take off, when we start to leave, it's going to go off. Just like that. So we're on our way. 170 miles to go. Try to get her trimmed up. Okay, so let's give things a try here. First, let's do our heading. Altitude. Set our speed bug. Okay, let's see here. Okay, it is following the heading bug, and I just have to move the heading bug. Got it on ITT. Get rid of that. Let's do that. Alright. So I can't get it to follow a nav course in GPS. But and I got the glitch again. I may have to delete the aircraft from my files and reload it. But for some reason, the last couple times I've flown this aircraft, you watch the artificial horizon, and it's glitching. And my heading and course display. And they're just glitching up. They appear to be working, but on the screen they just keep glitching. Alright, so we don't have the altitude to go over the mountains, so we're going to fly right through that gap. And unfortunately, my GTN 750 will start screaming at me about obstacles.
Caution. Terrain.
See what I mean?
Caution. Terrain.
Yeah.
Caution. Terrain.
Here she goes.
Terrain. Caution. Terrain. Caution. Terrain. Warning. Terrain. Caution. Terrain. Warning. Terrain. Warning. Terrain. Terrain.
At least she has a pleasant voice.
Warning. Terrain. Warning. Terrain. Warning. Terrain. Warning. Terrain. Warning. Terrain. Warning. Terrain.
Yep, I'll have to go into my GTN and turn all that stuff off.
Terrain. Warning. Terrain. Warning. Terrain. Warning. Terrain. Warning. Terrain. Warning. Terrain.
Yeah, the one way to get rid of it though is okay. We're going to turn on to
Warning. Terrain.
a little closer to our heading course. Then we're going to gain some altitude.
Warning. Terrain.
Now that we're through the pass.
Warning. Terrain. 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 Warning. Terrain.
800
Warning.
foot a minute climb.
Warning. Terrain. Warning. Terrain. Warning, terrain, terrain. Warning, terrain, terrain. Warning, terrain, terrain, terrain. Warning, terrain, caution, terrain, terrain, terrain. Warning, warning, terrain, 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 terrain. 500.
Okay, so we've got our altitude now, and we're getting set. We're gonna head down the flight path, and we'll see you once we get closer to landing. So enjoy the flight. See you soon. Okay, and we are back, and we are very close to our destination. Right out there, you see that little black line just to the left of the roadway? That's the airport. Very small little place. Right there. I have control of the aircraft, so let's see how well I land this compared to my flight yesterday with the 429. We're going to lose altitude pretty quick. Now the airport itself sits at 2,599 feet, I believe. So Keep our speed up a little bit, and we can lose altitude fairly quickly. And then as we get down, we'll start to slow down.
Five hundred. 400.
Okay, so start to slow down.
300.
Start watching our descent. We're going to try and land right in front of that hangar to our right.
Two hundred.
Okay, everything's looking good so far.
100.
And I've noticed in the past this helicopter has a tendency, when you get close to the ground effect takes over, and it wants to slide left. So let's go ahead and back up a little bit, give myself a little room from the hangar, and we'll come at it again. Okay, that should be good. Now let's ease her forward. We want to land in front of the hangar, not in the hangar. Okay, very good. Much better. Much better. Okay, so ease her down. And that's all there is to it. We are down. Very good landing. So RPM's down. And in order to complete the flight for FSEconomy, passengers must be hiding underneath the bench seats, jump seats. I've got to actually shut down the engine, so we'll let them rotate down a little bit, then we'll shut them down. Okay, and there you go. And now we can actually finish the flight. So let's go ahead and get that done. And we got credit, so we got paid. And after expenses, that'll net us over $6,000 for the flight. So that's okay. So, with all that being done, let's go ahead and take another look at this butter landing.
Two hundred.
200. vast improvement over my second attempt landing yesterday in the Bell 429. And you can see the windsock. Now you know why I was turning around. I want to land into the wind. Even helicopters like to do that.
One hundred. 50.
Started to slide left, so that's why I went ahead and backed out, reset up, come back in. Set her down, nice and easy. And that's all there is to it. Flight completed, mission accomplished. All is well. Alright, landed safely, everything went well. What can I say? Another nice flight, enjoyed it. 412, working as it's supposed to. Still a little bit of an issue with the navigational situation. It will follow the heading, but it will not follow a nav flight plan. At least I can't get it to do it. But that's okay. As long as it can fly a heading, I don't have any issues. So we made it to our destination. After all expenses, we made a little over $6,000. So I've got no complaints whatsoever. If I can make $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a flight in FSEconomy, I'm a happy camper. So we did that, and everything went well. Landed okay. I think part of the issue I had with my 429 flight is using the experimental flight model. That may be where the issue lies. I turned it off for this flight, and the VRS situation seemed to work better. So the helicopter worked just like it has in the past, and I'm very happy with it. 412 is a very nice helicopter, and works well. So hope you enjoyed the flight. If you did, please click the like button. If you didn't, click the don't like button and leave me a comment. Tell me why you didn't like it, or tell me why you did like it. If you want to be notified about other videos I do, please go ahead and click that little bell next to the subscribe button, and we look forward to you joining us on other flights. So until next time, this is BugEater64, and remember, safe flying.